motorcycle into a truck earlier this morning. We have the details.
Per child, I'm at least spending at least $80 per student.
Tomorrow morning is the start of a new school year, and today parents made those last-minute purchases to get their kids ready. And in Storm Track weather, Dan.
We continue tracking the scattered shower activity all across the area. An updated look at radar is coming up.
It's Sunday night. It's 10 o'clock.
10 straight minutes of news start now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7 at 10 Weekend.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Josie Ortegon.
And I'm Evan Fulham. Let's go straight to Storm Track weather. Storm Tracker Dan Martinez is in the weather lab with your first forecast. Dan, you've been tracking some storms. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we continue tracking radar out there, and we have the very good moist, unstable air mass coming through the area and a cold front pushing through, a weak one, but still, you can see we do have some scattered activity all across the area, and I'm keeping tabs on it right now. I do want to focus in on one specific area that's closer over to the Deming area there, and you notice right now, Silver City, you're calm as we speak right now, but I kind of want to move things over just a little bit here, and you can see more of the green pushing through portions of the Las Cruces area. Hatch, you're getting in on some of the rain showers there, and we continue to track things around the Deming area. They continue to see a lot of that rain. I'll give you the details on that in just a second. But as far as what we saw so far today, 94 degrees our high temperature. Right now, though, we're only sitting at 84 degrees in El Paso, 76 Las Cruces. And notice our future track overnight. We're getting some of these reds slowly starting to pop up, some of the purples as well. This model's really bringing a lot of heavy rain with it. Will it impact tomorrow through the morning? We'll talk about that, and I'll give you your future track details in just a little bit. Josie?
Dan, thank you. We'll check in with you in just a bit. A motorcyclist is dead after crashing into the back of a pickup truck this morning. The crash happened just after 10:30 on Donovan Drive in Canutillo. Sheriff's deputies say the motorcyclist rear-ended a truck as it was slowing down to make a turn. That's when the 65-year-old man was thrown from his motorcycle. Deputies say he was not wearing a helmet at the time. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The man has yet to be identified.
And still no update on the investigation surrounding human remains found in northwest El Paso. A group of hikers went on a morning trek Saturday morning when they found the human remains. The bones were in the desert area just north of the Trans Mountain and Wrestler. This video was captured by ABC7 crews as the group was speaking with police officers. There are limited details at this time, but police have confirmed they are indeed human remains. The El Paso police will handle the case. It's not considered a criminal investigation. They're calling it a death unattended investigation.
And police are still searching for the person who stabbed a teen to death. Police say 19-year-old Cesar Gutierrez from Chaparral was stabbed after an altercation with another person. This happened Friday night. The teen was taken to UMC where he was pronounced dead. No arrests have been made at this time. Police are asking anyone with information to call them immediately.
Tonight on ABC7 Extra, we're taking a closer look at the process that led to that big raise for El Paso City Manager. Host Maria Garcia is live now with a preview. Maria.
Hi, Evan. As we told you this week, City Rep Claudia Ordaz said she regretted approving City Manager Gonzalez's raise because of the process that led to that pay hike. Ordaz says she realized she made a mistake when she heard from her constituents after the vote to increase Gonzalez's base pay. The council have voted 3 weeks ago to increase Gonzalez's pay from about $250,000 to an even $300,000 a year. Tonight we're looking at the process Ordaz has been critical of. Did the city actually do its due diligence when increasing Gonzalez's pay? Or was Ordaz's attempts this week to rescind the raise an embarrassing misstep, as her critics say? Rep. Ordaz will be joining us tonight, so will former Mayor John Cook to give us perspective on the process. Call us at 915-496-1775 when the show begins to give us comments or questions. Email us at abc7extra@kvi.com, or better yet, tweet me at MariaGABC7. The process that led to that controversial pay raise tonight on ABC7 Extra, right after this newscast. Back to you.
Maria, thank you. Voters overwhelmingly gave EPISD's penny swap the green light. The measure was approved during last night's tax ratification election. This allows the district to move 3 cents around to help pay for day-to-day operations. It works by moving the change for the portion of the district's tax rate that pays for debt and cutting into teachers' raises, classroom technologies, and educational programs. The district promises the swap will not impact your taxes. It'll remain at $1.23.5 per $100 of home valuation. More than 8,000 people voted. 81% of those voted in favor of the penny swap. ABC-7 spoke with Superintendent Juan Cabrera last night. He says those raises will go into effect tomorrow.
Meanwhile, the deadline for the Isleta School District to file for November's bond election is tomorrow. Remember, the Board of Trustees approved a $430 million proposal to go to voters last week. Voters rejected a similar proposal in May. The district says they need money to improve its aging schools.
And happening tomorrow, county commissioners are expected to discuss and possibly take action on 2 proposed pipelines in San Elizario and Clint. This is video of protesters in Clint last month opposing both those pipelines. Currently, there are 2 under construction or consideration for construction, both from 2 different companies. The railroad pipeline by One Oak is a $500 million project which would begin in West Texas, end at the border, and provide gas for a company in Mexico. The other is the Comanche pipeline, which would transport gas from Pecos County to San Eli to Mexico. Just last month, we spoke with residents in Clint and San Elizario who told us they were concerned about the transparency of the project because they didn't even know a gas pipeline would be running through their cities. ABC-7 will be at the meeting tomorrow. We'll be sure to bring you updates.
Churches across Las Cruces continue to stay on high alert. Las Cruces police say over the past 3 weeks, officers have swept more than hundreds of churches looking for anything suspicious. This after 2 bombs went off earlier this month at Calvary Baptist Church and Holy Cross Church.
A 3rd device was found at First Presbyterian Church just weeks later. Today, churchgoers say a strong law enforcement presence continues to make them feel safe. ABC-7's Jamie Moore is live with more. Jamie.
Josie, while a suspect is still on the loose, all local agencies are forced to take extra precautions. And one way they're improving security is by sweeping churches. Officers, federal agents, and bomb-sniffing dogs have moved from church to church these past couple of weeks looking for anything suspicious.
Las Cruces Police Department coming and checking on all the churches and stuff definitely makes me feel safe.
Feeling safe now that law enforcement has a stronger presence. Since the beginning of this month, officers have swept more than 100 churches looking for anything suspicious.
Our law enforcement have to do due diligence because they need to keep the rest of our community safe.
Since the 2 explosions, churches have increased security.
We have taken a few more steps. You know, there's a bigger presence. You can see people walking around the parking lot.
The sweeps are a multi-agency effort. Agents and officers with FBI, Homeland Security, State Police, and Doña Ana County Sheriff's deputies are working together. Parishioners say an FBI agent even offered to lend a shoulder to witnesses who were there that day.
If they felt like they were traumatized, they were free to call her and she would work with them.
Just gives you a great feeling to know they're right on top of things.
While investigators still search for a suspect, many Las Crucens say they will continue attending their houses of worship.
It is our faith that keeps us safe.
Las Cruces Crime Stoppers has increased its reward to $15,000 for any information that leads to an arrest. And that amount is only good through September 18th. Josie?
Jamie, thank you. A man accused of torturing puppies last year has been sentenced to 6 months in jail. He's Carlos Fernandez. He was arrested last December. Police charged him with animal cruelty. A resident secretly videotaped the man with one of the puppies and sent that video to us. The residents in his neighborhood told ABC-7 the man would contact people giving away puppies on Craigslist, take in the pups, and then torture them. Police began their investigation in September when they uncovered an injured pit bull pup. 3 months later, they responded to another pup that was hurt. According to court documents, Fernandez took a 3-month-old puppy on his roof and let it fall. Fernandez was sentenced Friday. Court records state he will serve this sentence concurrently with the previous sentence of driving while intoxicated.
There's a major backlog of errors standing in the way of having an accurate district court record. The errors were caught a few weeks ago by District Clerk Norma Favela. There are about 40,000 errors in the district case record. She says the errors won't affect the people involved in the cases, but as the information comes up, it'll be corrected. Favela added that no one is sitting in jail over these problems.
We would be looking at thousands of man hours, and it could be a project that could take up to 2 years. And we're talking only focusing on cleaning up those errors. Again, 1, 2, 3 errors could be in one single case, but it's going to take a seasoned clerk to go through the entire case.
The judicial management report itself is expected to come before county commissioners again in a couple weeks.
The goal was to give the El Paso city manager a raise, but in the process got a rise out of residents. Rick Cabrera shares your comments in ABC-7.
City representatives ended up with some egg on their face for their handling of city manager Tommy Gonzalez's raise. Some had an issue with him getting it. Others had a problem with the city not giving residents a voice, while others were upset the issue came up again after it was already approved. So let's get some facts straight. William called the salary extravagant. Chicago pays $60,000 a year, and New York City's compensation is $106,500 a year. Both are obviously far larger and more complex than El Paso. Our managing editor did some digging, and in both cases, those cities have strong mayoral forms of government, meaning those cities might have someone with the title city manager, but that job wouldn't be on par with El Paso's city manager. This is a more accurate comparison. The numbers were provided by the city. Tommy Gonzalez's salary was well below all 4 of these cities, but now at $300,000, he only sits below Austin, which has twice as many employees. Prior to the raise, Gonzalez's salary was on par with Laredo and McAllen, both with far fewer employees. Either way, the raise isn't sitting well with some. Lila wrote on the KVIA.com Facebook page, "What planet is this council living on? The raise is more than 90% of what El Pasoans make in a year. Vote these clowns out once and for all." Others have made the point that Gonzalez was hired for a certain salary and was already getting a 5% raise, and council should have left it at that. Most employers would almost never suddenly give a big pay raise without a promotion. Still, Gloria strongly supports the increase. There are peering eyes in this direction. Rich cities looking for a great city manager and won't blink an eye. We have lost great people in the past simply because the pay El Paso offer did not meet the caliber of competition with other cities. The wisdom of this council in favor shatters this tainted view. Regardless, the raise is here to stay. Question is, will Gonzalez stay as well? Council hopes, thanks in part to that raise, the answer is yes. Rick Cabrera, ABC7 Listens.
Rick, thank you. Backpacks are packed. Teachers have their lessons plans ready to go. Tomorrow is the start of the new school year. Families are out today doing some last-minute shopping for their kids. Coming up, we'll give you some tips for the school year and in weather. Dan.
Well, we continue tracking the storms, but I have your back-to-school forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching ABC7, where news comes first.